Okay, week 6, chapter 9. Let's see here. Human resources, fun. Um, Human resources obviously very important, whether it's for benefits, um, vice versa for the company and for the employee. HR is there to explain the benefits to the company, to the employees. One of the biggest things when I left the company that I missed was the benefit package that they had for its employees. That they do. Mr. Roberts is very, very good on keeping the benefits for the staff. Very competitive, very fair, very gracious. What I paid for myself to where my new company where I work at now is up for, day and night. I paid a fraction of what I have. I have less, and I pay triple the amount versus what I had triple the benefits at Comcast and only paid a fraction of what I pay now. With that, they have for all work groups have incentives, goals, and with that, there's also daily incentives, whether it's um, ticket to the ball game, the for a sporting event. Um, as you know, Comcast owns multiple franchises of NBC, USA, E, things like that, channels like that. So the artists from certain shows will come in and go through and make a campaign through a lot of its offices, at the job sites, um, to meet and greet, take a picture, have lunch with the cast of Game of Thrones, for example, or you know any other show that's really hot or going on, or the MMA fighting organization when there was in Florida, South Florida, a lot of the sporting events, the Dolphins, Heat players were always invited, and the company, you know, had food, the whole 9 yards for the staff. Um, one good thing, at least in the work group that I had, all senior managers had to participate, from supervisors up to the director of the work group, um, like a little carnival thing, and there was a dunk tank. So employees, that was one fundraiser that they made always all kinds of money because everybody would come up with a few dollars and just throw those balls to make sure that the boss went in the tank. Things like that. So HR department, that's the big part of this chapter, measuring excuse me, measuring the human aspect, the human capital of the organization. Um, Understanding how also the balanced scorecards will affect the individual, the company, the work group, the individual units. Discuss monitoring and the dysfunctional behavior and management systems control. One of the things that they do a lot is when they see that there's a pattern of something going on, or the company uses surveys to get feedback from its employees. Obviously, it's a huge organization. The senior directors, after the survey, will send out a survey. It's a company who does it to a certain work group, not just the individual. There's the annual survey for the company and employees. Then there's, when there's a situation going on, or if they're seeing that performance or certain products not being sold, they'll do focus groups. They'll do surveys. Um, and the big managers, we're talking about A level, B level, will come down to the work site and sit down with the staff. And there's one gentleman that retired, Tom, and he had been there 25 years when he retired. He would come in. Now, he was my VP of my work group, and he would come in, and he would come like every month, and he'd spend about 3, 4 days, maybe a week sometimes or more, at the site, at he had managed 7 sites, but at the site, and he had the ability. I don't know how, or he just memorized everything, but he would sit down with you, know your first name, you know, um, talk to you, and if he had a discussion with you in the past, you know, he'll strike it up, recap it with you, you know, like how the kids, how did she get into the college she wanted to. He was a very down to earth person. He made his job look more human than just the I'm the boss and you gotta do what I have to do. Um, at the same time that people were like wanted to move up in the company or would ask him for advice of what area of expertise or what type of training or schooling, he would sit down with them and do one-on-one and do a mentor program with them, which was really good. They also paid for their schooling, a good portion of it. Um, Obviously, there's a cap on that because of the federal government, et cetera, et cetera. But that's one of the things that I did. I gotta admit, at least he would do things like that. Now, difference between incentive systems and performance. It's a big line. It's a big magical line in between both of them, but either you can't have one without the other. You can't get the incentive if you don't have the performance. Plain and simple. If you're in sales, it's depending on the type of company. It's the more products you sell, the higher your commission was. Not so much as the higher your gross sales by less discounting. That didn't mean that you got the higher commission. Obviously, there's so many lines of product, and if you combine the products together, you have a bigger incentive to sell that product. For a triple play versus a single play, plain and simple. Three products or one product. You sold 3 products in one, heavily discounted. You got paid 3 times or 4 times the amount that you sold a single product at full price. That was a learning curve because since I've always done sales, and the less you discount and the higher you sold, the higher the margin to the company, the more your commission you would see it in the commission. Not here. A lot of companies, depending on the products they sell, have that same format. Okay, and that's a wrap.